Okay, it's 3 o'clock. We'll call the House State Government Committee to order. Clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Sells?
Here.
Representative Bedsole? Here. Dr. Boyd? Representative Butler? Here. Representative Chestnut?
Here.
Representative Keel? Representative Kirkland? Here. Representative Lands? Here. Representative Lawrence? Here. Representative Paramore? Here. Representative Shaw? Here. Representative Stothagen? Representative Wood? Here. Representative Yarborough? We have a quorum. Okay, we have a quorum. We will conduct business at this time. Our first piece of legislation is SB 8 by Senator Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
This piece of legislation is a very simple one, and most agencies in the state has the privilege of spending tax dollars to buy material, educational material. And this piece deals with our agency at EMA to give them the privilege and opportunity to purchase education materials to educate the public on how to prevent certain things and take cover on tornadoes and hurricanes and bad weather. So that's an essence of the bill itself.
Yes, sir. I can't believe that we don't have it already. Any questions, any comments? Okay, do we have a second? Second by Prince. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Yes, sir. Thank you,
Mr.
Bill
Chairman,
passed.
thank you. Thank you, committee.
Okay, we're going to bypass anyone here for Senator Givhan? Okay, good deal. Thank you. SB 22, Senator Givhan.
So thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this one is about as inside baseball as you can get. I'm the Senate member of the Uniform Law Commission. Most people probably don't know what that is. There is a House member. It was Cynthia Allman. So now, as far as I know, it's vacant. The Speaker appoints the House member of that group. My bill just simply makes it where the pro tem makes that appointment parallel to the Speaker as opposed to the Lieutenant Governor. It's a separation of power issues. It'll be one of several bills I'll be bringing before you.
Okay, any questions? Any comments? Okay, we have a motion. We have a second. Okay, yes. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I didn't quite understand. Could you repeat and help me to understand exactly?
Sure. There are a number of appointments, and I have two different bills. I'm here just on one of them today, that where the appointment for the House corollary, for a House member, the Speaker makes that appointment. But for the Senate member on certain committees, the Lieutenant Governor makes the appointment. Mm-hmm. And I simply want the pro tem, who is the corollary of the Speaker for our body, to make that appointment as opposed to the Lieutenant Governor, who is clearly part of the executive branch.
What has caused any problems with the way it have been functioning? What's the rationale?
Rationale, separation of powers, Representative, that the Lieutenant Governor, because every time I try to tighten up on the executive says, whoa, 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 separation of powers. Well, I'm back at you. Separation of powers. This is the legislature, and we run the legislature runs itself. That's just that simple.
Is this unique to this only committee?
No, ma'am. There's another one. For instance, the reapportionment, okay. And I think joint transportation. I did not file the joint transportation bill. That's coming, but those are also the Speaker makes the House appointments, but the Lieutenant Governor makes the Senate appointments. And it's got nothing to do, I love the Lieutenant Governor appointed me to this. I mean, it's not a problem with the Lieutenant Governor that we have, and I don't know who the next one's going to be. Sure. It's about the principle of the matter.
Right. Okay, any further questions, comments? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, sir, thank you. Bill passes.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is SB 137, Representative Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We're carrying this for Senator Livingston. We've already passed out the House version of this bill out of the Insurance Committee a few weeks ago. What this does, we actually currently have a resiliency council that was established by Governor Ivey, but it was done through executive order. So when she leaves office, that'll go away. So what this does is it codifies it into law. And what we're doing is we're basically establishing the roles, responsibilities for the Resiliency Council, and creating basically an executive officer, a chief resiliency officer to run the Resiliency Council. And what that is made up of EMA, agriculture, insurance, you know, law enforcement members that come together. So in the case of an emergency, that we're in place and we have a long-range plan and short-term plan to deal with natural emergencies like tornadoes, hurricanes, flooding, what have you. And you know, with FEMA, the diminished role of FEMA currently going on, this is more important than ever that we deal with this.
Okay, we have an amendment. You aware of the amendment?
I am.
Chair, I would offer the amendment,
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
so I will read it.
Representative
The
Shaw.
amendment is to replace line 22 on page 1 with the following: risk and vulnerability assessment. This bill would also provide for funding of the council from insurance license fees. Replace lines 35 on page 2 with the following: a statewide comprehensive risk and vulnerability assessment, and to amend section 27239 Code of Alabama 1975 to revise the distribution of insurance license fees and to provide funding for the council. Replace lines 295 through 296 on page 11 with the following: into the state treasury as follows: 50% credited to the insurance department fund, section 1A. B, beginning in fiscal year 2028, $1 million of the amount in the paragraph A shall be credited each fiscal year to the Alabama Resilience Council Fund, $1,500,000. Replace lines 298 through 301 on page 11 with the following: for risk and insurance research fund, number 3, the remainder. And I would move that we adopt this amendment.
Okay, we have a motion on the amendment. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the amendment has been adopted. Okay, sir, carry on. Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
Call for the vote.
Any questions or any comments?
Move to give the bill favorable.
As amended. We have a second? Okay. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, sir, thank you. Bill passes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members.
As amended. Okay, next we have HB 2, Representative Standridge. Oh, I'm sorry. It's too close together. HB 295, Representative Hall. I'm sorry, David. I need to look at this.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Chair and members. House Bill 295 really is a bill that the only thing that is happening to this bill is that we're making a name change. If you will start on page 2, it will just indicate to you that if you look at look at the summary, which is on page 1, that on the existing law, you have the Office of Minority Affairs, and this bill is mainly to rename that office, the Office of Civic Engagement.
Okay, do it.
Yeah,
we have a
Mr.
motion.
Chairman. Yeah, I move to give it a favorable report.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second.
House Bill, what, 295?
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, second by Paramore. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you.
You all have a wonderful day.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am,
you.
too. Okay, now Representative Standridge.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and committee members.
Slow down.
This bill is the Gulf of America bill. It's the same bill that we had last year that we passed out of the House. It didn't make it all the way through the Senate. Got caught up in the last day or two of session up there. But basically what it does is, for our state purposes, we would use the name Gulf of America instead of Gulf of Mexico. This bill is the same bill that we ended up with last year after I worked with the different parties that had issues that they had concerns about, to make sure it wouldn't be a financial burden on any entities about changing resources and some date things about implementation. And also there's some issues with the universities that they had some concern with last year. We wanted to be sure we put language in there to protect what they were trying to do and teach in a historical purpose. So that's the bill, and there is an amendment that I'm expecting.
Okay, Representative Butler.
The amendment is replace line 28 on page 1 with the following. Section 2, beginning October 1st, 2026, all states.
Okay, we have a motion on the amendment. Do we have a second? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, the amendment's been adopted. Any further questions? Okay, how about
I have some questions.
yes, Representative Chestnut.
So I want to kind of understand what you talked about. Obviously this may cause some logistical issues down in Mobile. What, if anything, have you heard from the, I guess, maritime admiralty folks, shipbuilders? What have you heard from them regarding this name change?
Haven't heard anything this year. I mean, this session, last session, that I did hear some information. I worked with them, and as far as I know, everything's fine.
What were their concerns, and what did you do to modify or adjust the bill in any kind of way for them?
Well, one of the issues was they wanted to be sure that they were protected as far as changing existing resources and things. And so we worked with them to make sure that it doesn't have an occupational or a financial burden on them to do that. But starting from this point forward, they would use the name, but they could still keep the resources and things from the other.
Okay, and as far as like with educational institutions, like with the atlases that are in the different, middle schools, elementary schools, and so are all those going to have to be changed out?
They won't. They won't under this. That's covered with what I just said. So.
Okay. They would just get maybe a sticker or something and put it on there.
Well, I know my wife's a teacher, and I asked her, I said, what would you do if you had a big map, that you'd, and she said, we deal with that kind of stuff all the time. She said, I would just put something over it and move on.
Okay.
Change it. So.
Okay. All right.
Any other questions or comments? Representative Lance?
Yes.
I'm just trying to really understand the motivation behind this. Why do we want to change the name of the body of water?
Well, obviously it came from executive order from the president to begin with and started. And so from then on, all the government agencies are using Gulf of America, and if you look at any of their stuff, they're using Gulf of America. Also, states are starting to change that. Florida has made it into law to use the Gulf of America, which they have the, large coast, on the Gulf. And state of Louisiana is doing it by executive order, from the governor. And so I think that just trying to stay consistent, especially with the Gulf states, and where it's not confusing, because the state, we have to, education and everything, you have to buy resources, parks, things like that. And right now, it's kind of in limbo. Do we buy Gulf of Mexico? Do we buy Gulf of America when they're trying to buy these resources? And I just think, we need it clear that this is what it is.
So has anybody talked to Mexico?
Well, I certainly haven't talked to Mexico.
Has the president talked to Mexico?
I don't know. I don't know if he's
to our
talked to
knowledge.
Mexico.
I mean, to me, the Gulf of Mexico borders the entire eastern coast of Mexico. It doesn't really border that much of America.
Well, it's actually about the same coastline.
Okay.
The United States and Mexico have about the same number of miles of coastline together, and it's also is a lot more highly used by the United States. Even though this is not Gulf of the United States, it's Gulf of America, but it's more used, it's protected by the United States, and I just think it's a more fitting name.
Well, I'd like to see us talk to our friends across the border before we do things. And I guess the only other thing I'll say is I just see us spending a lot of time passing a lot of bills around things that don't really matter that much to the average person when we have a mental health crisis and really big issues that are affecting all of our citizens. And I wish I'd see us spending a little more time on things that really do affect our people.
Well, I certainly respect that. I respect your view on that. But we have to realize that this is millions of dollars worth of resources that are being purchased by the state. And so we need to be sure we have a consistent, this is what we're going to use and this is what we're going to go by. So they'll know what to buy.
Right, and if I may, Google right here calls it the Gulf of America.
Oh, that can be.
Thank you.
That's right.
Oh, Mr. Chairman.
You're not recognized. Representative Yarborough.
I just want to say, we do have bills that affect a lot of people, so I look forward to your support of my Lake and Riley Act on the floor when it comes up, but because it affects a lot of Alabamians with lots of cases of people who have been harmed by illegal aliens. But I appreciate you bringing the bill.
Thank you.
Representative Lawrence.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Standridge, I just got one question.
Okay.
You say this was came about because of the president through executive order, right?
Well, I think that's really what started it.
Okay.
I think that's what started the conversation is when he did the executive order. I think it started the conversation. When I got involved is when I saw that people were in limbo about what are we supposed to buy, in our textbooks, what are we supposed to buy on our maps, those type things. And so that's when I got involved.
So in, 3 or 4 years when we have another presidential election and we have a president that decides that they want to change the name back through executive order to the Gulf of Mexico, what do we do then?
Well,
Use a hyphen.
I will say, I know that Florida's already got it into law. I know Louisiana's using it, but on the other hand, I can't imagine a president wanting to use Mexico instead of America and change it back and put that in order.
Well, 4 years ago, we couldn't imagine we would be where we are now.
Yeah, sure enough.
But that's my opinion.
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. At this time, we have a motion. Oh,
You want to say something, Dr. Board?
I did, but my goodness.
Okay, Dr. Ward, do you
Does
want-
this open the door for us as a state to start to renaming things following a pattern of who makes directive of this? I've kind of been around a long time, and I'm kind of looking to how well it has functioned. And to me, it had opened many doors and many opportunities, and I'm not sure what's going to be the different or more advantageous than changing the name. And as my fellow legislature said, the next election cycle we're going to have, I don't want us to start opening the door. Y'all excuse me when I say that because I'm Alabama and I'm not that. Most people look at us in Alabama State, thank God for Mississippi. And I want to say this. I have traveled the world through committees and things I've learned a lot of just observing. And I don't want us to completely be looked upon as, I don't want to use the word ignorant. I'd kill my students if they did. I would say you need to know a little bit more. I'm just puzzled as to if this is going to really do what you think it will do, except continue setting us aside as being like of intellectual that starts up there instead of down here. I'll shut up now.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Okay, we have the motion.
May I just make one statement of clarification?
Yes, sir, please hurry.
I know that a lot of people are focusing on the nation of Mexico, but it's my understanding that the Gulf of Mexico is not necessarily named after the nation state of Mexico. It's just named after the region, after the Spanish had conquered it and named it that many, many hundreds of years ago. So for what it's worth,
Okay.
I'm not an educator, but for
Thank
what
you.
it's
All in
worth.
favor say aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
Okay, the ayes have it.
No,
Sir,
no.
HB 2 passes. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, committee and chairman.
No, me too.
Okay, HB 343, Representative Sorrells.
Let's get to some real business.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Committee members, HB 343, basically under current law, electrical cooperatives and member-owned cooperatives, before they can go into debt, have to go before the Department of Finance to get clearance to go into that debt. So basically what this bill will do was remove that criteria. So I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Mr. Chairman.
Representative Lawrence.
Thank you. Thank you, Representative Sorrells. I think these are the type of piece of legislation that we need to have in our committee, Mr. Chairman. Something that's really going to do something to help our cooperative districts, which would in turn help the members that they represent. So I thank you for bringing this piece of legislation. At the proper time, I'd like to move to give it a favorable report.
Second.
Second.
Thank you.
Okay, let's all do it at one time. Okay, any further questions, comments? Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, sir, thank you. Bill passes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, committee.
Okay, HB 220, Representative Pringle. I'm sorry, Pro Tem Pringle.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen, this is kind of came to our attention that the Speaker and President Pro Tem of the Senate, they make a lot of appointments. And oftentimes they find that maybe their appointment is, the person they appoint to the board is not showing up for meetings or not representing what they believe that person should represent when they're representing the Speaker. And this is simply a bill that allows them to remove the people they appoint to boards and commissions and agencies.
Any questions?
It is an amendment on that.
We have an,
Yeah.
I have an amendment, Mr. Chairman.
okay. Representative Mark Paramore.
Replace line 18 on page 1 with the following qualifications to serve, and this bill would also provide exceptions. Replace line 29 on page 2 with the following: the authority in certain circumstances and to provide exceptions. And replace line 49 on page 2 with the following: relevant state law, section D. This section does not apply to the governing board of any 2-year or 4-year public institution of higher education.
Okay, you heard the amendment. Any questions, any comments on the amendment? Okay, we'll have, okay, Stadhagen, Representative Stadhagen.
I just start off saying it's weird seeing our old chairman at the podium.
Thank you.
At the proper time, motion in favor report.
It's a favorable amendment. So,
On the amendment
Okay.
and the bill, if you want to do that.
Okay, we have a motion on the amendment. Do we have a second? Okay. Okay, all in favor of the amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, all opposed? Okay, the amendment's been adopted. Any further questions on the bill as amended?
I have questions.
Representative Chestnut?
Yeah, so this applies across the board. Any board, any commission, it's basically if someone gets appointed and they say something that the appointee doesn't like, they can just be removed, right?
well, just like we do, we serve at the Speaker's pleasure. And if the Speaker appoints you to a board or commission and you're not doing your job, this gives the Speaker the ability to remove you.
Yeah, but it doesn't say not doing your job. It says for any reason.
Yeah, well,
right.
it just-
That's different, right? I don't like the way you combed your hair this morning. You know, you're off the board.
Well, you can be removed from this committee for the same reason if he wants to. So we all serve at his pleasure, including me.
Okay, any further questions or comments?
I second Representative Stodhagen's motion to give the bill a favorable
Okay,
report.
all
as
in favor
amended.
say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, sir, thank you. Bill passes
Thank you, ladies. and
as
gentlemen.
amended. Okay, next up is HB 303, Representative Bedsole. We just want to adopt the sub and explain that.
Thank you,
Okay,
Mr. Chairman.
Representative Bedsole, if it's okay with you, we have a substitute on this piece of legislation. Could we go ahead and adopt a substitute, and then you explain that to us?
Yes, I'd love to. Really, the substitute at the end of the day, as we continue to work through some of the finer details of the bill that I will go into, the sub is just where we pulled everything together, basically created a new version to avoid confusion and a bunch of amendments. So the sub and the original bill are the same, other than some finer details, and I will go into more detail on what those are.
Okay, if we can, committee, let's adopt the sub, and then we'll hold our questions till after that. So do we have a motion to adopt the sub?
We adopt some.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, well, the sub's been approved. Go ahead and explain your sub C, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This bill at the heart of it all has to do with fraud protection. And I wanted to come around here and being able to have a chance to look everyone in the eye because of the important nature of this issue. It doesn't matter if we're talking about from the extreme north part of our state to the south, or higher income communities or more rural sections of our state. Everybody in this room probably knows somebody who has been a victim at some time or another of fraud. Specifically, the fraud that we're going to get into and this bill deals with is fraud that is perpetrated through using electronic means. And in just a second, I'll introduce the term cryptocurrency kiosk or cryptocurrency ATM. And I already see the look on your eyes. You're beginning to gloss over to figure out what this is, which is truly the challenging part of this bill. So let me first explain what we're talking about when we are mentioning cryptocurrency ATMs or kiosks. These are devices generally located in convenience stores or stores in your own community. As a matter of fact, if you pulled up a map and searched, you could find some very close to this facility. The scammers out there that are victimizing our citizens across the state are reaching out through electronic means, possibly through text message, emails, or even phone calls. Whatever fraud they're perpetrating, it might be a romance fraud where they're building a relationship with you over time, pretending to be somebody they're not. It might be a fraud that threatens you with going to jail if you don't pay for your warrant you have. And what they're doing is prey upon your biggest fears or your insecurities. And the way they get money from you, or one of the ways that they're getting money from you, is they're directing you to these devices that are located in stores. You may have seen them by different trade names, and we have a couple representatives in the room today. And I just want to say this right off. This is not an anti-industry bill of any kind against those that operate that. Specifically, CoinFlip and Bitcoin Depot have been at the table, and they have been a part of the solution here to try to help us. They recognize there is fraud that is being perpetrated using their devices. And while we still disagree on some of the finer pieces of it, they agree that this is a problem that needs to be addressed. And not only it's being addressed in Alabama, it's being addressed in states across the country. So the scammers will get you to go to these machines. You'll make a deposit using your credit or debit card or maybe even cash. You'll create a virtual wallet in which your funds are now collected there in form of cryptocurrency. You pass along a security key or code to the fraudsters because you think you're doing the right thing, because you're going to go to jail if you don't give them this money. So you give them the code or the key. That gives them the back door into it. They take all the money and it's gone. You'll never get those funds back. So what this bill will do in order to protect our victims of fraud is it has provisions that are set up. And if you don't mind, I'll go through a few to tell you how we're going to do it. So just keep in mind, this is related to or similar to some provisions that protects the consumer at traditional bank ATMs to keep you from being a victim of fraud with those as well. So some of the things that we're going to do: consumer disclosure and receipts. Transaction disclosures before a transaction. Operators must clearly disclose the U.S. dollar amount, all fees, the total transactions amount in both crypto and U.S. dollars, and the exchange rate. There will be fraud warnings. Kiosks must display specific separate warnings about common scams. Examples are romance scams impersonating law enforcement, frozen account claims that the consumer must accept before proceeding. Receipt requirements. Operators must provide a physical or digital receipt, including the operator's contact info, transaction time and date, receiving address, fees, the operator's refund policy. Digital receipts must also be sent to the Alabama Securities Commission. And this would be a good time to mention this bill has been in close concert and actually worked very hard on by Director Amanda Sin and her team at Alabama Securities Commission. Couldn't have gotten to this point with this bill without their help, and they've done a tremendous job. This bill also fraud prevention and transaction limits. Blockchain analytics. Operators are required to use tracing software to block transactions associated with known fraudulent or criminal cryptocurrency addresses. Daily transaction limits, and this is a piece here that's very important. New consumers. So if you're a brand new customer and you've never been to that cryptocurrency ATM, you're going to be considered a new customer for a period of 30 days. In that first 30 days, it limits you to only depositing $1,000 at a time. And that's important because the fraudsters, once they get you on the hook, they'll keep getting you, and they'll keep telling you to go back for more and more and more. So we've set it up so at the first 30 days, they're limited to $1,000 per transaction or $10,000 in a month. Existing customers, anyone that's beyond the 30-day, they're limited at $10,500 per day. These values are a sampling of what we've seen in other states, and we're trying to find a way that we can early on keep our victims from losing so much of their money early in the process. This bill strictly prohibits the buying, selling, or sending of privacy-enhancing privacy coins via kiosks. It sets up refund mandates for fraud victims. If a consumer is fraudulently induced into a transaction and provides a law enforcement report within 60 days, the operator must provide a refund. For new consumers, it'll be a full refund. For someone who is considered an existing customer, the refund of 1/2 the transaction value and all fees is in place. Operational standards, consumer support. There's going to be a mandate that will be U.S. headquartered operators must provide live U.S.-based toll-free consumer service at all time. Law enforcement coordination is built into the bill. Operators must maintain a dedicated phone line and email for government agencies and provide blockchain analytics data upon request. An institutional separation, kiosks cannot be shared with or affiliated with any traditional financial institution. Some of these you actually could do transactions that were both like a traditional ATM and you could do Bitcoin. And this keeps that separation in place. And lastly, compliance. Operators must follow all the Federal Bank Secrecy Act, U.S. Patriot Act requirements, and violations of this will be administered through the Alabama Securities Commission, may assess civil penalties for violations. And then a couple additional things I want to say about this. We have a lot of support for this bill, as you could imagine. District attorneys, represented sheriffs, AARP, and our local police are all in favor of this as they're working so many cases. Financial bank institutions are also in support of this to increase this regulation. And before I take any questions or turn it back, Mr. Chairman, I just want to recognize District Attorney Andy Hamlin for the 24th Judicial Circuit. Okay, he's right here. Thank you for being here today. He is someone here who can certainly attest to the cases that they're seeing in their circuit and is a strong advocate for what we're trying to do here today. So sorry for the very long-winded explanation, but it is very important, I think, for the committee and for those here today to have an opportunity to be educated on what this problem is and what we're trying to address.
Okay, Representative Shaw.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Everybody knows I'm a fan of crypto. I've been nicknamed blockchain and called crypto bro and all sorts of stuff. And that's all said, kind of in jest. I think it's a phenomenal technology that has a lot of future for our state and for the people of our state. But as somebody who's worked with new technology for 35 years now, it's painful to watch these new technologies, whether it be blockchain or AI or anything, used to exploit people, especially seniors and some of the people that they're exploiting. So when I heard about this bill and I heard you were working on it, I also got the details on the industry coming to the table, advocacy coming to the table, and I know the Securities Commission, we have very capable, Amanda Sen and her crew are very capable. I mean, thank you for doing this because it's very important to the industry. I think it's very important to the technology that we protect our people from new technology in addition to all the great things it is. So I'm kind of jealous that you're getting to do it because I think it's a great bill, and thank you for your hard work on it.
And thank you for the comments, and just for everyone, Representative Shaw was early to the table. We had dialogue and conversations earlier because I knew this was a passion of his, and also I thought it was very important. I wanted to earn his support, but he's been a key and instrumental part, and I appreciate that.
Okay, I've got a question. So at these kiosks, can you swap the crypto back for cash, or is it just a one-way transaction?
That's a good question on the exchange side. I know we've got some industry people here in the room. If you want that answer, Mr. Chairman, or when we leave here, if you just want to swing by, I think there's one right up the hill.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
No, I mean, we could go.
No. I'll talk to him after the meeting if that's okay.
About half of them, some of them, I'd say roughly half, will allow you to do that.
Okay. So it goes both ways. Okay.
Yeah, we'll just have to choose the right one when we go.
That's right. Okay. Any further comments or questions? Okay. We have a motion. Okay, we have a motion by Shaw, second by Chestnut. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? As substituted.
Thank you, Mr. Chair and committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. We're going to take that's right. It's hot in here. I know a lot of y'all probably want to get out of here. If you want to do that right now, you can do it. You're gonna have to wait after class. Okay, next up's Representative Gidley. We're gonna do HB 81. We're not voting on this. We're gonna just hear what he has to say and kind of take this under consideration at this time.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, committee. You know, one of the greatest ally we have in the United States, and one of the greatest ally we have with Alabama, is the nation of Israel. Many people don't know it, but in 1943, at the request of Golda Meir, this joint legislative body of this state, Alabama, did a resolution recognizing Israel's right to become a nation. We were the first, maybe the only state to do that. We've stood strong with them ever since. What I'm going to talk to you about here is not the renaming of anything. It is the correct naming. I don't know how you are, but I don't like to be called by something I'm not, okay? And I have been that a few times, and maybe some of the rest of you have as well. I like to be called by who I really am. And this is called the Judeo-Samaria bill, and it's very, very simple. Now, Representative Chairman Sells, you asked me to try to be thorough in explaining why this is. I'm going to try to do that in the most expedient way I possibly can. That doesn't always work well with me, but I'm going to try, okay? In order to do this, I've got to go back to the original name of the region we know as Judea-Samaria in Israel. It goes back 3,000 years, way back, 3,000 years back. In 900 years BC, that's 900 years before Jesus, King Omri named that area Samaria. There's a number of references here, and we have to use biblical references because that's our historical reference, is the biblical references. That gives us a timeline. 1 Kings 16:24, it's called Samaria. And Jeremiah 31:5 is called Samaria over 100 times. In 2 Kings 17, it's called Samaria. 1 Kings 18:2, Micah 1:6, it's called Samaria. Then we come to Judea, the southern kingdom of Judea, and Psalm 76:1, it's called Judah is known by God. In Ezra 5:8, it's called Judah. In Ruth chapter 1, it's called Bethlehem of Judah. In the New Testament, Acts 1:8, it refers to Judea and Samaria. John 4 refers to Samaria. Acts 8:1 refers to Judea, Samaria, and so does Luke 17, verse 1. This gives you a timeline of how long that region was called and named Judea, Samaria. So how did it happen that it ceased to be called that? Well, let's move up now to a little closer historical time, during the time of the Roman Empire. In the 2nd century, the year of 132 to 135, Emperor Hadrian put down there was a Jewish uprising. The Roman emperor was Hadrian. He put down that Jewish uprising, but he also hated the Jewish people. So he wanted to erase who they were. He wanted to erase the knowledge of who they were and erase their existence. So he did something to do that. The way he did that was to try to change their name. So he took the area of Judah, of Samaria, of Israel, and renamed it from the Israelis' most arch enemy to humiliate them, which was the Philistines. So he changed the name of that region in the year 132 to the region of Palestina. Okay, that's what he changed the name of that for, that region to. That later became known as Palestine. So actually, Palestine is not the original name. It's not even the name of that. It's a name changed by a Roman ruler who wanted to dispel the knowledge of the Jewish people. You can look it up. Don't take my word for it. It's a historical record. Look it up, okay? In the year 135, the land is recognized as Judea. In the year 70 A.D., when they conquered Jerusalem, and when the Romans coined a coin recognizing their conquer of Jerusalem, they didn't call it Palestine Capta. They called it Judea Capta, which means Judea captured. Even the Romans recognized, even as they captured that region, that the name of it was Judea. Now let's move on up to a little closer in history. Let's move up to 1947. In 1947, the resolution was created recognizing Israel's right to become a nation. It's UN Resolution 181. And in Part 2, here's the boundaries they established. It uses the terms Judea and Samaria as the official geographical descriptors to define the borders of the proposed states. Here's a quote. The boundary of the hill country of Samaria and Judea starts on the Jordan River at the Wadi Mali southeast Basin and runs due west to meet the Basin-Jericho Road. From here, the boundary runs southwestwards at the points of the district boundary between Haifa and Samaria. From here, it follows northern boundaries, rejoining Haifa and Samaria on the district boundary. So the UN resolution even recognizes the region created as Israel as Judea, Samaria. But you know as I do, in May the 17th, 1948, when Israel became a nation, the next day they went to war. They went to war the following day that the resolution was adopted. In 1948, the Judea Conference, King Abdallah, convened a meeting of prominent Palestinian notables, and the conference participants passed a resolution calling for the unification of the two banks of the river. In 1949, the armistice agreements with Israel and Jordan established a de facto presence in the region. And in 1950, the Jordanian parliament passed a resolution, and they took control of that area. It was not theirs, but they took control of it, and they fought to get it. So it was never referred to as the West Bank until 1950, when Jordan took that land. Now, we know that in 1967, Israel took that land back because it originally belonged to them. But you know as well as I do, when something is named something, it's called that for so long, then it begins to stick. So it's stuck as the West Bank. Today, Israel owns that. They control that. It's part of their homeland. Almost every reference of biblical incidents that we read about in the New Testament has to do with Judea, Samaria. So what this is simply a bill that would require state governments, when they put out a document, to just simply use the term Judea, Samaria as the West Bank and bring back the original name that's been it for over 3,000 years, that was only taken back in the 1950 when Jordan took that by force, and now Israel has regained it. I was there. Many of you know that in September this year, myself and 4 other of our legislators from this body were privileged to be invited to go to Israel, to visit the parliament, to visit the Knesset, to hear from Netanyahu, to visit the Gaza border where the kibbutz were attacked on October the 7th, and to stand on the mountain of Judea, Samaria, and hear the people saying, please, please, give us our name back. This is who we are. Now, let me say this, because I know it's already been mentioned with the previous bill. This won't require the changing of any kind of textbooks or any of that sort, okay? Not at all. All it requires is if the government state puts out some documentation, they would use the word Judea, Samaria instead of West Bank. Now, why is this important? It's important because Israel has always stood with Israel. It's important because God said he blesses those who bless Israel. And it's important, like it is for me, to get back my right name when somebody calls me by a wrong name. It's important to make sure Israel gets back their right name. It's making a powerful statement that we once again recount our stand as a state of Alabama with the nation of Israel, and with naming them and giving back their heritage, just like we would like to make sure ours was given back if it was taken from us. On that, I've cut it way short. When I practiced it at home, it was about 4 times this long, okay? So I've cut it way short. But I hope I've given you, Chairman, some reasonings why this is important.
Mr. Chairman, I know you're ready to go. What reminded me of what I'm going to say when I saw some people walk in that door to see me. I'm a 4th generation CME, Christian Methodist Episcopal Church.
Yes, ma'am.
As I sat here and listened to you, I thought I was in my survey of the Old Testament class, survey of the New Testament class under Dr. McKenzie.
Well, let's have some more discussion.
No, and I don't want to challenge you as a minister.
No, ma'am.
And I respect you because I know where you're from, but I also know where I'm from. And I listened. Everybody listened. And, of course, they want me to shut up now, but they know this is the only committee I have kept my whole time here. When people try to get me off, and I'm used to being called by every name there is, sir. Some of us are. Mm-hmm. But good luck to you, but I see positives, I see negatives in this. And I'm going to shut up. We've been here a long time. But God knows, I feel like I've earned my right on here to say what God allows me to say, being equal and fair. It doesn't matter what it's called. It's what it does. I'm through.
Okay. Thank you. Any other comments? We won't vote. This is just wanted to hear this. Okay. If there's no other comments, we are adjourned. Thank you very much.
And Mr. Chairman, I couldn't sit there. I couldn't.
Ms. Boyd, you can say anything you want to. We have never tried to get you off this committee.
I'm serious.
Like I was at church too.